What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the TCG Empire YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite decks in the format. This is going to be Urshi Intel. So, if you guys don't know, Urshi Intel is the combination of Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX paired with Inteleon VMAX. A great combo. So, starting things off, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, Gale Thrust, 30 plus 120 if it was moved from the bench to the active. So you do a total of 150 damage for a single energy, 330 HP, and then you have Gmax Rapid Flow. You discard all of the energy attached and deal 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So while cards like Manaphy do exist, there are ways to kind of deal with that, and that is with Inteleon VMAX. Inteleon VMAX, 320 HP, Double Gunner, you discard a water energy, and once during your turn, you can choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon and place 2 damage counters on them. Then you also have access to Gmax Spiral. You may put an energy attached to this Pokemon into your hand. If you do, it does 70 more damage, so dealing 140. And the cards that kind of pair well with that are the Rapid Strike Energy. This provides 2 water or 2 fighting, or 1 of each, which means that you can attach a single one, pull off Gmax Spiral, pop it back to your hand, and then the following turn, you can attach to the Urshifu, use cards like Melanie in order to accelerate water you are discarding for Double Gunner onto the Urshifu, which means that you can pull off cool plays. And paired with this is also Medicham. Medicham uses Yoga Loop, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If it's knocked out, you get to take another turn. So this makes plays like using Urshifu really easy and really simple. And paired with everything, we are also running Radiant Alakazam, Painful Spoons. Once during your turn, you can move 2 damage counters. So in reality, when you use Double Gunner, you're spreading 20-20, but if you have Alakazam, you can technically move one of those 20s to one of the other Pokemon and essentially put 40 damage on one Pokemon rather than a 20-20 split. And for consistency, we have Squawkabilly. And overall, this deck is huge, super fun, and we are running 1 TM Devolution. It's just good to be able to spread damage counters and then de-evolve your opponent's Pokemon. Helps to kind of solidify certain matchups, especially against things like Gardevoir. Sometimes it can be tricky if you do start something like an Urshifu just because you are weak to Psychic. So your main attacker in that matchup would be something along the lines of Inteleon, and then you have the ability to devolve, get rid of options like rare candies and things like that. And overall, it's super solid. As always, the deck list will be posted right here so you guys have a full clean view of it, and in the description will also be the deck list so you guys can copy and paste it into Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. Shoutouts to Raul Reddy. This is essentially his list. I just cut one of the TM evolutions for an escape rope just because having something like Alakazam pushed into the active when Turo is prized or already gone, it's really rough. So, as always, thank you guys for watching today's video. If you do enjoy it, do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We are 70 subscribers away from the 1,000 goal. You guys have been killing it with everything. I appreciate you endlessly. So, again, with that being said, thank you guys for everything. Enjoy the gameplay, and I'll catch you in Monday's video. Later. Alrighty, guys, so let's get into the very first game, playing some Urshi Intel, seeing what we can do. Our start not looking too promising with the aspects of starting Spiritomb, and we do have some ways to retreat, and we're actually playing against Entei Valiant, which isn't, it should be a good matchup. Because we do hit weakness with Entei, and they don't really have a way to one-shot us. Only 2 shots. So, what I'm thinking we're going to do is Nest Ball, grab something along the line of Inteleon, play the escape rope, promote the Inteleon, play the tower out, go from there. We do also have access to grabbing Squawk, potentially, but depending on our top deck, we might not need it. My opponent actually might be able to donk us here. So, that is definitely something to keep in mind. Thankfully with Spiritomb though, my opponent doesn't have access to actually using Fleet-Footed, so that's one less card that they have to work with. So that could have been a lot worse for us, but definitely isn't too bad. It's just a matter of if my opponent gets the donk here or not. So there's another Entei coming down. So my opponent needs... see, switch card into a retreat. So my opponent needs 2 retreat options in order to potentially set up. So doesn't look like that's going to happen though, out of 4 cards. So we should be okay. There's a 4 Seal Stone, There's another one. My opponent passes, so not looking too bad now. And we actually get an Earthen Vessel, which is good. The Earthen Vessel gives us some options on what we need to do, but I think the first thing we'll do is Nest Ball. Take a look at what's prized. I could go Squawk too in order to draw a few more cards, which I don't hate. We have all the waters. Rapid Strike Energy is prized. So, alright, things aren't looking too bad. Alright. So we'll go into the Escape Rope. My opponent chooses to promote the Iron Valiant with the ability to retreat, which is fine with me. And we can go Ultra Ball just so that way we can thin a couple more cards. Now, I could go Squawk, draw a fresh 6, potentially hit an Energy, and then find some things to do there. But realistically, I'm kind of just okay with getting Inteleon because I am hitting Weakness. And providing that my opponent can't do too much, we should be okay. Let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. So my opponent would need 1 ping on an Inteleon. I think I'm just going to sack a Remoraid here. And then the next turn, we'll be able to Ultra Ball as well as Research, kind of do some other things, be able to knock out an Entei easily, and then just kind of go from there. My opponent is down 1 DCE, or DTE, I'm sorry, so we don't have to worry too much about the factors of potentially running into a Yoga Loop. And once we get the Inteleon VMAX out, there's not too much that my opponent can really do. We're going to be able to spread as much damage as we need to. And then if we can set up an Urshifu at all, we have the chance to potentially take extra prizes, so I definitely don't hate the idea of doing that. My opponent's going to be able to take a free prize here. We'll just go into Remoraid. My opponent planned on playing Escape Rope. Oh, they did play Turo, so there is the Tachyon Bits. 20 on the Spiritomb. So my opponent is dealing with the Spiritomb because they don't want to have to risk not having the draw potential, which is fine. So we are going to be able to take a knockout on Entei here. Potentially also get some more energy going, things like that. So definitely not looking too bad for what we need to do here. We have the ability to promote the Inteleon. We have the Forest Seal Stone, which is perfect. That is a genuinely good top deck. So we can go Ultra Ball. Let's see. I think this is what I'm going to do. Ultra Ball, get rid of the Arven and the other Ultra Ball. We'll grab the Octillery, Evolve, Tower, Research, and then we have the ability to find some pieces that, you know, we might need to look for. And we actually kind of drew basically a lot of what we needed. So we have the energy here in order to start searching. We have the Earthen Vessel in which we can get rid of the Battle VIP Pass to grab 2. And honestly, I don't have to use the Forest Seal Stone yet. So I am going to save it. We can use the Rapid Strike Search to search out another Inteleon, which means we can start spreading this damage accordingly. So we'll use Double Gunner here, and we can just go 20. We'll put 20 on a Valiant. We'll put it on the one that has the free retreat. We'll go Double Gunner again. We'll go 20 and 20. And we can G-Max Spiral for 280. Hitting 4 weakness, taking 2 prize cards. And now my opponent has no one-shot potential. So we are in a good spot. We have the ability to Octillery for the other Urshifu next turn, which means that we have the potential to set up some more damage, get things going. And if we can hit 120, 120, we're in a good spot. So My opponent brings up the Octillery. Honestly, not too bad for me. The Octillery did its job, so I am not bothered by that by any means. And we do have the ability to actually set up some more of what we need to do. So my opponent is choosing a new active, bringing up the Entei. There's the Medicham. My opponent's goal is probably to Yoga Loop the Spiritomb. But a Yoga Loop probably not going to be too efficient. My opponent is kind of missequencing. They could have definitely set up something to potentially Yoga Loop me next turn, but all is well. So we will just promote the Inteleon here. We have a Turo as well, which means that we can just Turo the Spiritomb, which is huge. So honestly, we'll just go Turo, bring up the Spiritomb, attach, and I don't think my opponent is going to be able to benefit really at all from anything. We have the ability to double gunner, like I mentioned before. So we can just go 20, and I guess we'll do 20. And then I have the ability to get a supporter going next turn, which is good. So honestly, just bench the Inteleon, and then we'll just go GMAX Spiral again. Hitting 240, or sorry, 280. And then taking a prize here. Now my opponent can draw, but I don't think it's going to be worth too much. And depending on what my opponent brings up, we do have the ability to potentially take a knockout next turn. My opponent just leaves something up like Valiant, and we have the ability to potentially use Alakazam, move some damage around, go from there. So I don't think my opponent's really going to be able to win this game, especially considering that if this Iron Valiant gets left in the active, we're honestly not too worried about that. And we also have Ultra Ball in order to be able to get out the Urshi, in which case we can go Rapid Energy into Melanie, hit 120, KO the Squawk. So interesting. So my opponent goes for the Charizard. So Charizard definitely something that is a little bit scary to deal with. But it's not the end of the world. Let's see. My opponent is down a boss and an escape rope, so still has access to escape rope potentially, but let's see. Escape rope. Honestly, I'm probably just going to feed my opponent this Inteleon, because even if they take the knockout and go to 2, there's no way that they're going to be able to KO a VMAX in one shot, especially if I get rid of this Charizard. So I am completely content with doing as I need to there. So can bench, promote the Inteleon. Let's see, so we get a water, so we have access to double gunner, which is huge. So let's see. Go double gunner. Go 20 and 20. And then honestly, I'm gonna risk it and say that my opponent doesn't have a way to Super Rod, plus also get back, plus also have a way to retreat, plus a boss. So I think I am just gonna go for the guaranteed game next turn. So we'll go the Urshi. And then we'll go Melanie. Melanie onto the Urshi here. Draws 3. And we have Iona for next turn as well as a double gunner if we need it. Let's see. So we'll go double gunner. Go 20 and 20. I could have gotten Alakazam too and started moving damage. That way a guaranteed double gunner next turn won me the game, but it's all good. Let's see. So we'll go GMAX Spiral. Hit for 280, which is the weakness point. In which case, we can take a prize, and we get a Karina's Focus. We don't really need it, but it is usable. And next turn, we can play our cards out. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160. So my opponent has to pull off all three of these Iron Valiants if they want to be able to KO the Urshi, but they also played Colress, so they can't use Boss. So if they have Counter Catcher, then potentially. But I don't think my opponent's really going to be able to do too much. So there's the first Valiant into the Tachyon Bits. 20 on the Urshi. Escape Rope. We'll promote this Inteleon. So there's a 20. There's another Iron Valiant. So if my opponent has Counter Catcher plus a normal Fire Energy plus a way to retreat, then they have game. Otherwise, we will be able to win next turn, providing that we can do enough. So we get the Alakazam. I'm going to bench the Alakazam, and then we'll go into actually Star Alchemy for double energy retrieval wins, because that's 20, 40, and then move 20. So yeah. So I didn't even have to go for the Urshi play. So we can just energy retrieval here. And we can use double gunner. Go 20 and 20. Inteleon 20, 20 here. And then Alakazam to get the final two prizes off of the Squawk. Drawing us our last prize card. And just like that, we're able to win. So just a quick, little video here. I feel like that kind of showcased exactly what I needed it to, as far as, showing why Urshi Intel is still good. You have the ability to ping off your opponent's board. You kind of control the prizes, so everything works out. Quick little video here today, but if you guys did enjoy it, do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of Urshi Intel in the meta. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in Monday's video. Later.